Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and thank you for joining us and watching our latest video here today at the Cine Film Factory. So today we are celebrating literally the tools of our trade. Wouldn't be able to carry out the works that we do here on your wonderful film memories and transfer them to digital if we didn't have the CIR splicers. These are literally the backbone of our business, and from humble beginnings many moons ago, when we started out trial and erroring lots of different tools for splicing and editing film, nothing literally touched these. So I felt it was absolutely well worth making a point of making this video to share with you the wonderful CIR Dr. Leo Catozzo splicers, film splicers, multi-gauge. So we've got a selection here which I'll run through with you in a moment for all of the different types of film gauge that we look after here at the Cine Film Factory. Before I kick things off, I wanted to share, this is from our Instagram. This is going back some time ago now. This is back in August 2023. A little interesting comment from one of our followers. We did a post, and what I'll do is I'll screenshot the post on the Instagram feed and I'll upload it into the section of thumbnail on this video, so you'll be able to read it and see it for yourselves. But it was charming. The subscriber on Instagram, it's either mrant7 or Mr. Rant7, 46 weeks ago, so that'll be 46 weeks ago, taking us back to August 2023. So he says, and these are all about these splicers that we've got here. So the guy basically who designed these, he was working for a company called Fellini, and it turns out that the guy who invented these, he was allergic to the cinematic cement editors that they used to use back in those days. So he set about engineering a tape splicer for himself, and the splicers that he engineered, they were passed around his workplace and became so popular it even grew into a business. The factory is still present today, and it's adjacent to a truck stop with a diner. So if you're hungry as well, guys, you can ever visiting out there, you can get some grub. It's the same family. They've got the diner and obviously CIR, where they make these splicers. Apparently it's just outside of Rome, so well worth a visit. Personally, I've never been myself, haven't had a need to, because we've got a collection of these wonderful splicers here. And ours we've picked up online off of eBay, mainly sourcing good quality little used ones. They do require a bit of maintenance, so the ones we've had have always gone in to our local blade sharpener, who looks after our blades being cut and sharpen them up, and they really are beautiful units. So yes, so let's digress onto the video. So these come in different shapes and sizes, as you can see. We've got ones for CIR splicers for Super 8 film. So they're for a Super 8 gauge of 8mm film. And then we have a standard regular 8 only CIR splicer. So that obviously handles regular standard 8 of 8mm film. We've got another dedicated Super 8 one there, another dedicated Super 8 one there. We have a few. We want to make sure that we're covered, and when there's multiples of us working on bigger film projects, we have enough to go round. Then we have this big boy here. So this is the 35mm. Don't use this one so much. This is for 35mm print cinematic film. So the kind of stuff that you would get on a 35mm projection in a big cinema, and you will have seen on our previous video with Alan, he would use this more for projecting 35mm cinema prints, but we have it in our armoury because occasionally whilst we do scan 35mm film, we don't see a lot of it, but when we do see it, obviously we need the tools to hand for that. The most commonly used one that we have here is the 16mm CIR splicer, and the reason it's the most commonly used CIR splicer is because not only does it do 16mm film, it also handles our regular standard 8 film, because the press plate and alignment plate underneath are the pins that hold the film are the same alignment for 16mm, regular 8 film and standard 8 film. So it covers us for 3 different uses here. So that's why it's our most commonly used projector. This is the special edition, this one. No reason why we've got other standard edition ones. I don't know, maybe you can leave a comment in the description if you know more about the inner workings as to why there is a special edition and a standard edition, but we obviously use them for cutting all the tape joins and rejoining the frames together during the splicing process of the restoration and film conditioning that we carry out here before we progress to the transfer stage. So they're absolutely key to us, these. Now, another interesting point about this 16mm splicer is when we're using it for 16mm film, you'll note there's 2 blade cutters here. These are the blade cutters on the side. So we have a straight edge one that you can see here, and we have one at an angle. And the reason that we have the 2 different cutting types is if we were splicing and recutting a frame of a 16mm, say, audio optical film or magnetic soundtrack, then the cut would be made using the angled side. That means we can align the soundtracks back together on the splicing process. If it was a silent 16mm, or more often not a regular standard 8 film, then we would only use the straight edge because it doesn't carry any of the audio, magnetic or optical track on there. So yeah, a beautifully engineered, as they are, piece of kit, and literally, as I say, the backbone. We would not be able to do the job that we do and serve our wonderful clients without these amazing pieces of kit. Interestingly, on this, just going back to this 35mm one that we don't use, this would be common sight in cinemas that are projecting 35mm film. The projectionist would definitely have one of these, you know, close to hand in their armoury, especially if they are going to project, let's say, a movie feature. They're so long and they come up on huge reels, but when they get delivered to the projectionist, they'll be in smaller sizes, so he would then take to the rewind bench to splice them all up onto the larger reel, ready for the projection for the audience watching. So that would be a common sight there, and also that would be used in it would have been used in the cutting rooms up and down Dean Street back in the 1960s in Soho in London, where they had the Steinbecks and all the film editors were working. It's if you happen to be around you know, the Soho area, you can still see some of the old studio buildings, although they're used for modern. A lot of them, went up there a few years ago, and a lot of digital content creators have taken over them yet. But it's still wonderful how content creation back then in the 1960s and today with digital content are still being used for creative content. So they would have been common sight back then up in Dean Street. Then I want to talk to you about, we're very, very fussy about the tape we use here. There's lots of different tapes on eBay and the like where you can pick up different tapes for splicing film together. We always use Jacro tape. We use it because we've used it for years. It's tried and tested. And when we cut film, splice film, prepare film for scanning, all of our splicers are all using the Jacro brand, and they quite literally hold the film together, and we never find during the scanning process that any films come apart. So it's reliable, it's our go-to, it's the one we use. So these ones here generally are used on the 8mm sections, whether it be Super 8, Standard 8, Regular 8, really doesn't matter. They will get used on that, and they will also get used on our very special prototype 9.5mm CIR splicers. And that leads me quite nicely over to these two beauties. We paid an absolute arm and leg for these. We bought them, well, a lot of people, one person in our Instagram feed said they didn't even know they made them. So these are, whether they're prototypes or whether they're just exceptionally rare, I don't know the background. What I do know is we literally wouldn't be able to carry out the wonderful work we do on 9.5mm film without these. They are truly wonderful pieces of kit, these ones, and we bought these, we bid for them on eBay from a seller, and I believe that they came from the collection of the late aficionado of 9.5mm film, Mr. Chris Newnham, who very sadly is no longer with us anymore. But we understand that these came from his collection. He was a chap down in Southampton. I've had many conversations with Chris in the early days of the Cine Film Factory about whys and ways, and understanding, gaining a lot more knowledge that we've taken on here from Chris Newnham. And he really was an aficionado of 9.5mm film. So 9.5mm film, if I draw you back, those of you who followed me and will know that 9.5mm is my favourite film format to work on of all time, because it is literally so tricky to work with, and to be able to get the wonderful images we get together from the 9.5, yeah, it's just amazing. So 9.5mm film, just a quick recap on that. So that's the film that has the central sprocket hole that runs through the middle of the film. Generally the Pathé of Paris, 9.5mm film. And these are just absolutely lovely because they are just dedicated and completely set up for the 9.5mm film. So the lining pattern of the source plate here is all completely set out. You can even see the little pins in the middle are set up for the central sprocket hole to feed the film. Prior to having these, we were using, but we didn't see that many 9.5. That's what lent us to be able to invest. And by the way, we bought these for around, I think it was just shy of £400 each. 1 week one came on, we paid nearly £400 on eBay, and then second week another one came on. That was the end of them that we knew of. I think the second one we paid about £500 for. So yeah, a lot of money invested, but absolutely worth it to make your memories and be able to create the content from your wonderful old films. And they literally are the backbone of what we use here. So back in the day, and these are probably quite familiar to our audience who are watching, so these are film liquid cement splicers. So these were domestic home use units, but it just gives you an idea. And I'm going to do another video soon on the rewind bench, showing you some different techniques of splicing, how it was back in the day, and then how using these pieces of kit of what we use today, and how much more simpler it is. But to get these, this is another, weighs a ton. This is an Ensign. You can see that. This is another, not tape splicer, liquid cement old school splicer. This cuts all the gauges. This is a 16, 9.5 and 8mm. Not something we use here anymore. We don't need to. We've got these wonderful tools here that we use. This is so much weight. British made, I'm sure. And the big steel plate underneath. Really heavy duty. You can admire that. It's a work of engineering art, really. But unfortunately, in today's business of what we're doing, it's just not viable to use, especially with a 9.5mm film, because it's simply, even when we cut the frame, key the celluloid and the emulsion, and then we put the liquid cement on, it just doesn't work. It doesn't hold the joins as well. So we use we always go to these wonderful units, and as I say, wouldn't be able to do the job that we do. Going to put some images, thumbnail images up to support this video, which will be interesting, shows the different display in a closer set, and as I say, I'm going to put the Instagram post on there as well. And then I'm going to make, if you want me to, I'm going to make another, I'm thinking about another video on the rewind bench. So let us know in the comments and descriptions if that's something you would like to see us do, and show you a close-up of each one of these working, which would be, yeah, great, and add to part of the celebration of what wonderful items they are. So for those of you who may not know, because it is, not everybody knows it, there is a generation watching YouTube now, and unfortunately we're getting to the point now where they really don't know about film. So hopefully these videos give an insight to that generation who are watching, the younger generation watching YouTube, about these a little bit more. So the smaller splicers that I talked about first, the Super 8, the regular 8 and the 16mm, but using it for the 8mm, you'll probably identify, and you may well have found, the famous Kodak processed reels in the yellow packets. So it's essentially it's those that we would use on those splicing machines. So yeah, I think that's everything covered today. I'm going to put a little description with a little bit more information there for you to follow. Please do, it's so important for us, because we throw these videos out and we're not always knowing, you know, what people want to see. So please do use the comment section below. We've got a wealth of knowledge, as you all know, here, and if there's anything specifically you'd like to see, then drop us a comment in the comment section below this video. That'd be absolutely great. You'll notice that I'm in a new environment today. It's not a new environment today. This is our film restoration and conditioning area. Hopefully you like it. A little bit more room, and this is where we prepare film, and a little bit more space. Got the wonderful celebration anniversary edition of the BMX burner from the 1980s. Might do another video on that in the future, but makes a wonderful backdrop to this video, hopefully you'll agree. So yeah, so thank you very much for liking, subscribing and interacting with our videos, and not just on YouTube, on Instagram as well. If you haven't already, please be sure to follow our social media channels and subscribe to us on YouTube and all the usual things, literally, so you can stay updated with the really exciting comment that we're going to, the sections of videos that we're going to roll out over the next few weeks. It's going to be really, really excited. So yeah, it's peace out from me. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video and hearing all your thoughts on the stuff we do here. Take care, bye.